Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Parallel, and welcome back to another episode of Parallel Synchronized Awesomeness. Today we're going to review The Crow, starring Brandon Lee. So full disclosure going in, my review for this movie might be a little biased. I first saw The Crow when I was a young lad, and it's still my favorite movie till this day. I'm a sucker for a good revenge movie, and this one is no exception. Its dark gothic tone, solid story, and great acting just hit all the right notes for me. The Crow is based on a graphic novel of the same name written by James O'Barr. It is a story of everlasting love, loss, and bloodthirsty revenge. Eric Draven and Shelley Webster are lovers who have had their lives stolen from them on the night of their wedding. 1 year later, Draven comes back from the grave through the power of the Crow to set the wrong things right and punish those responsible. I'm not going to lie, this movie is a blast from start to finish. This is due in large part to the fact that almost the entire cast kills it in their respective roles. They all embrace the core of their characters and are just having so much fun playing them. Brandon Lee's portrayal of Draven is spectacular to watch. He definitely is the standout in this film. You can tell he was just having so much fun with the role, the way he would dance around, joke, and taunt his targets before dispatching them, really embracing his newfound powers and showing these bastards the consequences of their past transgressions. Everything from him feels so genuine, like he really is Draven going through this ordeal. The flashback scenes between him and Shelley paint a real picture of the power of their love. Sophia Sheenas, who plays Shelley, only gets a limited amount of screen time, but it is every bit of impactful. These scenes make you fully understand why Draven is so out of his mind consumed with getting the people who wronged him and his beloved. Grief and anger are powerful emotions. The villains in this movie are exceptional. Each one's personality is varied, but are all equally despicable. In other words, you love to hate them. The main perpetrators in this film are T-Bird, played by David Patrick Kelly and his gang, Funboy, played by Michael Massey, Tintin, by Lawrence Mason, and Skank, by Angel David. When these guys are on screen in any capacity, you feel both entertained and disgusted at the same time. While their personalities are extremely vibrant, make no mistake, every single one of them is a grade A dirtbag. Of course, the real person at the head of everything is Top Dollar, played by Michael Wincott. While his character is a more serious tone compared to the other villains, he still has a very alluring presence every time he's on screen. He portrays that feeling that while he comes across as even-keeled, he could just snap and go ballistic at any moment. And his strange relationship with his sister only adds to the unsettling feeling even more. Moving on to the side characters. Even the side characters in this movie are fleshed out in interesting ways. There's only really one notable exception, and I'll get to that later. Let's start with Sarah, played by Rochelle Davis. She is the good, pure heart and soul amongst all of the madness in this film. She's kind and caring despite that she has lived her entire life with a drug-addicted mom who constantly hangs out with Funboy. With all of her surrounding environment, it could be easy for her to fall into just being another terrible person in this dark city. Despite everything, she remains the sole light in the darkness of this film. Albrecht is another force for good portrayed in this movie by Ernie Hudson. He's a former detective who was busted down to beat cop for sticking his nose where it didn't belong. Albrecht aids Draven on his journey throughout the night, even if they don't see eye to eye on Draven's methods. You can really tell Albrecht is one of the few good souls trying to save what is left of the city. So now for that notable exception I was talking about earlier. That'd be Detective Torres, played by Marco Rodriguez. His acting job is solid for the role. It's just that the character doesn't really bring much to the film, other than being the detective assigned to the case of the dying gang members. His character actually seems to exist just for the sole purpose of being antagonistic to Albrecht. At the end of the day, this character could have been left out of the film completely, and it wouldn't have changed it all that much. One thing I want to mention about this film is that it is gorgeous, plain and simple. The shadows, the lighting, the camera angles. Sometimes watching it, I forget that it came out in 1994. All of those things combined just add to the tone and emotional effect the film is going for. So I'm about to wrap up here, but I have to address one thing before I do. As fun and beautiful as this film is, sometimes it can be easy to forget that a terrible tragedy occurred. As many might already know, Brandon Lee lost his life while filming this movie. The film really shows what Lee could have brought to the world had he gone on to play more roles. The depth and range he displayed while playing this character cannot be overstated. Rest in peace, Brandon. So I don't know if I have much more to say here for the conclusion of this review. I highly recommend you check this movie out. Everyone from the main characters to the side characters are A-game. The film is so beautiful you'll sit mesmerized by its shots. It really feels like you're watching a comic book. I'm sure you were all expecting this, but I give The Crow 5 out of 5 parallels. Alright, that concludes another episode of Parallel Synchronized Awesomeness. I've been Mr. Parallel. I hope you had a good time, and if you did, please like and subscribe.